Are we good to go?
We got you. You're good to go.
Perfect. All right, that's great. So I'm just looking at the participants. We don't have a ton right now, but we'll get them to join. So I guess my attitude is, so long as you're here, it doesn't matter where everybody else is. So gang, let's just get started. So I want to talk today about how to create momentum. So let's start first of all by just defining momentum. What is momentum specifically? If you look it up in the dictionary, momentum is nothing more than mass plus velocity. So in other words, the size of something, its total weight, the space that it occupies, and then the velocity. In other words, the rate at which it moves forward. Another way to say it is it's the energy of a moving body. So a good example would be a freight train on a track, right? A freight train going down on the track, we could measure its momentum based upon its weight and its velocity moving forward. We could judge it based upon those things. So I want to talk about that and how you create momentum and how specifically you take advantage of what's called the compound effect. There are 5 things that I want to talk about, but before we do, let me just talk a little bit about momentum and about the compound effect. Momentum, and specifically the compound effect, they can work for us or they can work against us. And every one of us, I can tell you, as a matter of fact, being living human beings, we take advantage of it, and we also allow it to work against us. I'll just give you an example. A hamburger, for example, a hamburger diet every single day, right, will lead to a stroke. That's the compound effect. That is momentum that is leveraged in a negative way. But a hamburger once in a while is pleasure. So a hamburger every single day is really something that leads to a negative outcome, and a hamburger once in a while is something that leads to a positive outcome. It's pleasure. It's pleasurable to do once in a while. I one of the things that I've decided to give up in my diet is ice cream. The reason is because I have a tendency to retain it right in the center, right? There are certain things that if we do it consistently over and over again, it's going to lead to bad results. It's going to lead to things that we don't want. And the same is true of doing good things over and over again. It's going to lead to great results. For example, going to the gym every single day. Doing that every single day leads to great results. That's just simply called the compound effect. I'll give you a really fun example of that. If I said to you, look, I'll give you $1 million today cash, or I said to you, I'll give you a penny today, 2 pennies tomorrow, 4 the next day, 8 the next, and I do that for 30 days, which one would you choose? Now, for a lot of people, they'd say, well, my heavens, I'll take $1 million cash. That seems really cool. I'll take it and run. But if you were to sit down and do the math, what you'd find is that if you took the penny today and then doubled it every day for 30 days, you'd end up with about $9 million. That's called the compound effect. In fact, Einstein said it's the most powerful force in the universe. So you think about that. One of the smartest, if not the smartest men ever to exist on this planet says that the compound effect is the most powerful force in the universe. Don't you think that we should leverage it? It would make sense that we do that, right? So my question for you is, are you leveraging the compound effect in a positive way? Plenty of people leverage it in a negative way. For example, not eating right. And that leads to obesity, heart disease, stroke, to all sorts of issues, versus the person who decides to go to the gym consistently and take advantage of the benefits of that. See, the average person under leverages the compound effect in a positive way and over leverages it in a negative way. It works both ways, guys and gals. The thing that we have to do is recognize that the compound effect is there, first of all. And then the second thing is to recognize that we can use it in a very positive way. And that it can be something that literally will change our outcomes almost instantaneously. I'll give you an example. When I was 24 years old, I was over 60 pounds heavier than I am today. I would consider myself, based upon my height and weighing 60 pounds more, to be fat. I was fat. I was lethargic. I had high blood pressure. I had high cholesterol. I was depressed, mentally, physically, emotionally depressed. And one day I just simply decided that I wasn't going to do that anymore. And over the course of 6 months, I lost 50 pounds. And in the next 6 months, I lost another 12, 62 pounds in a year. And what is interesting is that in the process of doing that over the course of the year, everything changed for me overnight. It was amazing how quickly things changed for me. See, if we'll just simply begin to engage in the things that are productive, in other words, leverage the compound effect in a positive way, it's amazing what we can accomplish in such a short period of time. When you think about it, the number of years that you've been alive, what does 1 year represent? Or a half a year, or 3 months, or 30 days? Because think about what you can accomplish in just those short periods of time. I mean, my heavens, I'm almost 52. 1 year is 1/52nd of my entire lifetime. Really not a lot of time to revolutionize my life, because it did. It changed my life forever, simply getting in control of that particular aspect of my life, because controlling what I ate led to what I did with my body in terms of physical activity. I lost a ton of weight. And because of that, I changed the way I looked physically. And because I changed the way I looked physically, I changed the way I saw myself mentally and emotionally. And I transformed myself entirely, not just physically, but mentally, a much more confident person in a very short period of time. Do not underestimate the compound effect of what can be accomplished. So how do you create momentum? There are 5 things that I want to share with you that I believe that you can do to create massive momentum in your life. Number 1 is to get into a powerful mindset. I want you to write that down. If you're going to create momentum in your life in a positive way, you've got to get into a powerful mental state, or a state of mind. Now, how do you do that? Gang, look, in this crazy, hurried world that we're in, because everything has to happen now, and we're constantly go, go, go. We've got a million things on our mind. What we did yesterday, what we have to do tomorrow, and also what we're doing currently. And then all of the stimuli that we get from the phone, the smartphone, the news, social media, the texts, the phone calls, the voicemails, all of those things are distractions. If we're going to build momentum, if we're going to be in a powerful mental state, we have got to slow down. So how do we get into a powerful state of mind? Slow down. Number 1, breathe. I want you to just try it for a second. Hopefully that's, you're alone, or there are not a lot of distractions. What I want you to do is just pause for a second. Stop thinking about anything else except for this moment. Be just present. Be mindful of your body, of your fingers, your toes, your hands, whatever sensation you're feeling in your body, whether it's warmth or cold or tingling, whatever it is, feel that. Now, what I want you to do is just breathe. Pay attention to your breath. Hear your breath. Feel your breath. Focus on that. And relax. Just relax. Just be present and in the moment. And then focus. See, I believe that in order to get into a powerful state of mind, we have to breathe, we have to relax, and then we focus. We've got to get, in other words, we've got to get centered. See, I believe that most people bring to any situation on a daily basis just a fraction of who they are and what they're capable of. Because that operating system of ours, that subconscious mind, is distracted by so many different things. It's focused on so many different things. So if we're going to bring more of ourselves to each situation, to be more powerful, to bring more momentum into every situation that we find ourselves in, we have got to get focused. We got to breathe, we got to relax, and we got to focus. I want you to think about this. What is more powerful, an incandescent light bulb that lights a room, or an industrial strength laser? And of course, the answer is it's the industrial strength laser. An incandescent light bulb can't cut through steel, and yet an industrial strength laser can. Why? Because of focus. See, if you want to build momentum in your life, in your business, you have to get focused. So you've got to get present. You've got to create this powerful state of mind where you're not focused on several different things, but you're focused on one thing. Think about that. If you were to put yourself in a situation when it came time to prospect and you just simply calm down, Didn't worry about your fears. Didn't think about all the negative things that could happen, but were just simply present and in the moment and breathed. Got connected with yourself and relaxed and just focused on making those calls. How different would your experience be? See, what I know is that it would be much different. You would transform yourselves into that incandescent light bulb, to that industrial strength laser, that laser that can cut through steel, that despite the challenge can cut through it. So I have to tell you that that is programmed in each and every one of us. It's just a practice state of behavior. We can either choose to be highly distracted or to be highly focused. And most people are habitually practiced at being highly distracted. And it's easy to do it. I get it. I'm guilty of it. I mean, I am ADD, constantly thinking about many things at once. I mean, even at times when I'm doing this, my brain's somewhere else. So gang, number one, if you want to build momentum, create great momentum in your life, number one, get into a powerful state of mind by breathing, relaxing, and focusing. Really acknowledge where you are, acknowledge your body, connect your breath to your body, feel the sensations presently in your body, and just simply focus. Because here's what I know. All that you need to be successful is within you already. What we have to do is we have to tap it. See, most people are not fully present, and therefore they're not tapping their full potential. We're always looking for external answers, explanations, gizmos and gadgets and different answers as to what it's going to take to be successful. And yet I'm here to tell you that everything that you need to be successful is already within you. If you just simply came to each challenge every single day, everything that you wanted to accomplish every single day, and you brought all of you to the table, you would accomplish it. You would accomplish it. We see people in the course of history who have accomplished amazing things. I can tell you it's because they are very good, or they were very good at doing this very thing, at creating this powerful state of mind and getting focused, relaxing and breathing, and just simply tapping that potential that they have within themselves, that energy. In other words, as I said in the very beginning, creating that momentum, that mass, and that velocity moving forward. It's like a freight train on track. See, if you were to take a freight train and power it up, but put blocks in front of those drive wheels, regardless of how much you power it forward, it's not going to go anywhere because it doesn't have any momentum. And those blocks in front of those drive wheels will prevent that heavy thing from moving forward. But if you remove the drive wheels, throttle it up, and get it going 75 miles an hour, and you were to put a concrete wall that's reinforced with steel on the tracks, that train would bust through that wall, no problem, because of the momentum. See, what I want you to do is create such momentum in your life by getting into that powerful state of mind and focusing that it doesn't matter what wall is in front of you, you'll bust through it. The second thing that I want you to write down is this. If you want to create great momentum, you've got to see it as you want it. I want to ask you a question. For those of you who absolutely love prospecting, you can stop listening. For the rest of you who absolutely are afraid of prospecting and deplore it, you can keep listening. And my suspicion is nobody stopped listening, right? I mean, nobody really likes prospecting. If you say that you do, great. I think it's a great affirmation. But if I were to give you a choice between prospecting or a vacation in Kauai, I think you'd probably choose vacationing in Kauai. But I want you to think about this. If you are prospecting and you're focused on and believe that you're going to get no's, how do you feel about prospecting? Why would you engage in the process of prospecting if you expected no's? Wouldn't it make sense to believe that you were going to get a yes every time you called somebody? See, life is that way. I believe that we get what we focus on. So why not see it as you want it, so that as you engage in activities, you have a choice. You can say, well, it's not going to work out. It never has, not for me. It works for others, but not for me. If people knew who I really was, they'd know it wouldn't work. So I don't believe in me. Really? See, I believe that if you'll permit yourself to see it as you want it, you untap that unbridled momentum. You leverage that compound effect. But man, you have got to see it the way that you want it. And unfortunately, the average person is highly practiced in seeing it the way that they don't want it, and then being surprised, angry, frustrated, upset, disappointed that they don't get the results that they want. I want you to just think about that. Are you really practiced, highly practiced at seeing the things the way you want them? Or do you tend to be highly practiced at seeing things the way that you don't? Think about your relationships. Do you see your relationships the way you want them? Truly the way that you want them. Not what you fear, but the way you want them. Think about your mental and emotional health, your physical health, your spiritual health. Do you see it the way that you want it? Or do you see it the way that you fear? See, I believe that you get what you focus on. One of the things that you learn when you ride a motorcycle is that whatever you look at, you go towards. It's just, it is the rule of riding a bike. When you get on a bike, if you look at the pothole on the road, that's what you'll go towards. It is absolutely impossible to look at the pothole and not go towards it. So one of the things they teach you is when you ride a bike is always look where you want to go. So my question is, are you looking in your mind to where you want to go? So you have to see it as you want it. You have to see the end results. The good book says that without a vision, the people will perish. Guys and gals, do you have a good vision of your future? Because it doesn't matter what your vision is, you're going to end up there. So the key is to make clear that you know what you want and to stay focused on that vision. So get clear about it. Do you really know what you want in your relationships? Do you really know what you want with your health? Do you really know what you want with your business? Are you focused on it every single day? I remember when I was 13 years old, I was watching Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous with Robin Leach. And I'm watching him talk about all of these mansions and the way these rich people live. And I remember sitting down at the kitchen table and sketching out this mansion that I wanted to build when I got older. And the crazy thing is, gang, over 30 years later, I guess 32 years later, the crazy thing is that I built a house in Park City, Utah, that after it was done and I was walking through it, I realized there was this aha that house that I had designed when I was 13 years old had manifested. I had built it. It's crazy. See, I believe what we see, what we envision, we can ultimately achieve. But man, you got to be clear about what it is. The third thing is this. If we're going to build great momentum, we've got to be grateful. I want you to write that down. Be grateful. Then in parentheses, next to the word grateful, I want you to write the word love. Write the word love. See, to me, the simplest way to express or define gratitude is that word love. That's really what gratitude is. It's love. It's love. My question for you is, do you find yourself being dictated more by fear? Do you have a tendency to forget what it is that you have to be grateful for? I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were talking about all of their challenges, all of their problems. And I said, give me a victory, give me a win, give me something. And they said, I really don't, I can't think of anything. And I said, really? I said, how about the ability to walk? And they said, well, I guess. And I said, do you realize there are people who are paraplegics, there are quadriplegics, and just the simple idea of walking would be a miracle? See, I think oftentimes we lose sight of what we should be grateful for because we take those things for granted. Be grateful. See, I believe that gratitude is nothing more than love. Love versus fear. We get to choose whether we're going to focus on love and be directed by love, or we're going to be controlled by fear. It is simply a choice. I guess an alternative way of saying it is that there's either going to be the pull of love or the push of fear. I was reading recently a quote. It went something like, if you're working on something that you really care about, if you work on something that you really care about, you don't have to be pushed. The vision will pull you forward. See, I believe that fear pushes us. It pushes us in any direction but the place that we ultimately want to end up. Whereas love, it pulls us into that direction. So if you want to build momentum, if you want to take advantage of the compound effect in a positive way, then be grateful. Be grateful for the things that you have. Be grateful for the capabilities that you have. Be grateful for the opportunity to say, this is what I want, and know that in this amazing country that you have the freedom to go out and actually do that thing, regardless of where you were born, regardless of your race, your creed, your religion, your sexual orientation. All of those things are irrelevant because it's programmed within you. If you'll just simply take advantage of this and be grateful and focus on what it is you want and create that as your reality. And then the fourth thing is this: to build a power, or to build momentum. It's to stop focusing on the how. Stop focusing on the how. I believe that most people fail to achieve what it is that they want because they never ultimately ever get started in earnest. They never build momentum because they're always focused on the how. Well, how will I do it? You know, they're worried about steps number 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and they haven't even taken step number 1. Gang, let me give you just maybe a visual analogy. If we were walking down a pathway at dark, and it's a dark night, it's not a full moon, maybe it's cloudy out, right? And I have a flashlight, and the flashlight is on, and it's powerful, and it's shining down the pathway. It's only going to shine so far. I can't change the flashlight. It is what it is. It's only going to shine down the pathway so far. The only way for that flashlight to shine further down the pathway is for what to happen? It's for me or us to take a step forward. Taking one step forward illuminates. It makes it more clear as to which direction we have to go to stay on the pathway. See, most people fail to do that. They get ready to get ready so that when they're ready, they'll be ready. That's what they do. Let me ask you a question. Are you guilty of that? Are you guilty of that right now? Are you saying to yourself, well, I don't know enough. I gotta learn this. I gotta know this. I gotta put this in place, and never taking the action that's more important than quote unquote trying to figure it out. See, stop focusing on the how and start focusing on the action. Start taking action. See, the greats didn't know how. The Wright brothers didn't know how. The men and women who built the rockets, the technology to get a man on the moon, they didn't know how when they first started. That's not where they started. They just simply started with what they already knew, and they took action. And every step that they took forward, that process of progression illuminated the pathway, and it left clues that they picked up. And like a puzzle, they started piecing it together. And lo and behold, before they knew it, they accomplished it. That's what the Wright brothers did. They didn't start in the very beginning and knew exactly what it needed to look like. So they sketched it, built it, and they got in the air. No, it took years of trial and error, taking steps forward, steps backwards, but those steps forward illuminating the pathway. So gang, stop focusing on the how and start taking action. There are too many people out there who are simply saying, well, I got to get it figured out first before I take action. You didn't learn how to swim outside of the pool. You didn't learn how to ride a bike watching other people do it. You had to get in the pool. You had to get on the bike. So you got to pick up the phone. You got to start presenting to people. You have to start getting active and prospecting and following up and presenting to people, following a schedule. Take action. Don't be that body at rest. Be that body in motion. Bodies at rest can't create momentum. If bodies in motion create momentum, you have got to take action. Stop focusing on the how and start taking action. You think about it. Edison, for example, the guy took over 1,000 iterations of the light bulb before he created one that was commercially viable, that worked. Had he said, well, I'm not going to take any action until I know exactly how it needs to be built so it works, he'd still be there. It's just, it doesn't work that way. Fundamentally, the best way to learn how to do something is to take action and just start doing it through trial and error, figuring it out. Making mistakes, falling down, getting back up. All right, and the final thing is this, gang. Let's have a schedule. See, look, if we can get focused, breathe and relax, be present, see things the way that we want them, stay positive, right? Be grateful for things the way that they are and what we're capable of. In other words, as Jim Rohn says, be both ambitious and content. Be content, be grateful, be content, but be ambitious. Stop focusing on the how and start taking action, and then put together a schedule that outlines, okay, what action do I take and when do I take it? The number one under-leveraged skill, I call it a skill, in life is consistency. It's consistency. It's the great equalizer. The more consistent you are in doing the right thing, the better results you get. It's inevitable. It's the law of nature. It's a universal law. It's a law. It doesn't change. You can't change it. Nobody can change it. The more consistent you are at doing the right thing, the better results that you get. So identify a schedule that outlines the most consistent, or the most important things, the fundamental things that you should be doing. Whatever your goal is, whether it's a relationship goal, a health goal, or a financial goal, a business goal, outline those things. And then put together a schedule. If you'll identify, look, gang, here, let me take you through this exercise. I want you to identify one relationship that you want to improve, or one relationship that you want to create. Write it down. Write down one relationship that you want to improve or one relationship that you want to create. Then what I want you to do is write down a goal that you want to achieve in terms of your health, either mental, physical, or emotional. Write down a goal that you want to achieve relative to your health. And then I want you to write down a goal that you have in business or finances. Write down that goal. Now, once you've done that, here's what I want you to ask yourself. What is the number one thing that I could do in that category, each of those categories? What's the number one thing that I could do that would be most impactful in achieving that goal? Identify that one thing. See, and if you identify that one thing and you put it into your schedule and you follow that consistently over time, guess what would happen? See, it's not a mystery. Success isn't a mystery. We already know what to do. The key is identifying it and putting it in the schedule and then following it. Remember this, consistency is the great equalizer. One of the best books to read relative to setting a schedule, identifying the highest impact activities, and kind of going through that exercise is a book by Brian Tracy, Eat That Frog. If you've not read it, read it. It's a great book. If you have read it, go back and brush up on it and put together the schedule. So again, gang, let me just summarize these things again. Number one, get into a powerful state of mind. Breathe, relax, and focus. Be present. Number two, see things as you want them. See things as you want them, not as you fear them, but as you want them. And then number three, be grateful. In other words, come from a position of love, not of fear, but of love. Be content, but be ambitious, which is number four, to stop worrying about the how and start taking action. Take action now, and then have a schedule that outlines what action you should be taking and when you should be taking. All right, gang, that's it. So very efficient, fast call. I'm going to get you out of here on time. So hopefully this is very helpful. I can tell you that if I had better answers, if there were different answers, if there were, truths out there that were more important than these, I would have shared those with you. These are the things that I know that you should be doing to build momentum in your life. Leverage these things, do these things, and I promise you, whatever it is you want to accomplish, you'll be able to do it. All right, go out there and be amazing, because you've got so much in you to share with other people. Go out there and change the lives of other people. And when you do that, man, it's crazy the rewards that we get in this business. We're very grateful to be in this business. So go out there and do it, gang. See you next time.